Hello everyone, I recently received a new knife from CMB Knives. The model is called Braveman, designed by Brave Design. So let's take a look at what it's all about. It comes in this kind of packaging. Inside we have a case with the knife itself. Here's an information sheet, some stickers, silica gel as usual. This is an information card that lists the model and the materials used. Well, that's that. It's interesting to those who aren't interested. Here's the case. The case is quite large. Inside the case, there's the knife, a cloth or wipe, maybe a pouch, 2 pockets and a soft lining, just like everyone else's. Or maybe not like everyone else's. The knife itself. The knife looks like this. A handsome titanium piece, quite hefty. Well, I recently reviewed some other knives, and compared to those, you can really feel the weight. As they say, weight means reliability. So let's take a look. All right, let's go over the technical specifications. And since we started talking about weight, this knife weighs 134 grams. The handle length when folded is 117 millimeters. Bye-bye. When opened, the knife has a length of 205 millimeters, about the blade. The blade is made of S35 VN steel with a stated hardness of 58 to 62 on the Rockwell scale. The grind covers about 2/3 of the blade. The blade has a classic traditional shape. The finish is black stone wash. Well, they specify PVD black stone wash. The blade opens using thumb studs. It's easy to open it this way. Like this as well, there are no problems with that either. The blade thickness at the spine is 3.5 millimeters. At the beginning of the blade, there is jimping. Honestly, I'll say this. The jimping is there, you can feel it with your finger, but I can't say it really provides a strong grip. Of course, there is some resistance, but it's not very strong. Let's put it that way, not strong. What else can I say about the blade? Well, I think I probably said everything already. Let's move on to the handle. The handle is made of titanium. So there are 2 titanium scales connected by 3 screws, the pivot screw, and 2 screws at the back of the handle. There is a lanyard hole, and a fairly thick paracord will fit through it. About 1/3 of the handle is occupied by a back spacer, which is also made of titanium. It also has some jimping, but again, it's mostly decorative because the back spacer does not protrude beyond the handle. And as for the jimping, these are just grooves that you can feel with your finger, but not really in your hand. So the clip is made of titanium, and it has the manufacturer's marking and emblem. It is attached with a single screw. There is a milled recess for the clip in the scale. On the other side, there is no such milling. The clip is not reversible. So, well, I don't know, maybe you can't really say that it's inconvenient for left-handed users. Like, well, I'm right-handed, and it's comfortable for me to use the knife. Well, it was a bit uncomfortable just now because of the video recording. The distance is not very convenient. If I take it in my left hand, well, it's pretty much the same. Yeah, it opens. At least you can use this finger to operate it. So, yes, probably when this knife is clipped to your pocket, it will be positioned differently. But I think that both left-handed and right-handed people will be able to use it with equal comfort. The lock here, some call it a crossbar lock. Lately, many manufacturers do, and some call it an axis lock. Well, in any case, we know what kind of lock this is. It is, again, universal for both right-handed and left-handed users. It works well, without any issues. The blade here is quite heavy, so it drops and locks instantly. In the middle, I'm not sure if it's visible on camera, there are milling cuts in the liners to lighten the knife itself. Also, well, if the milling is still visible there, probably, but the rest isn't. But there are milling cuts around the pivot and the lock area. And there are, I think, steel liners, mini liners inserted there so that the pivot screw, bearings and the lock itself move not against titanium but against metal, so they don't wear out the titanium. Maybe it will be necessary to make a separate video taking the knife apart to see what its construction is like. As for comfort, well, the knife is absolutely and completely in those classic traditional shapes. Both the blade, which will cut very well and pierce well if needed, and the handle itself, which is also classic. That is, there's a finger groove at the front, then a slight rise, and let's say not a very pronounced but still present groove for the last two fingers. The handle completely fills the hand, so it's comfortable to hold, nothing presses or digs in. So cutting, piercing, all of that is comfortable for me. The mechanics are excellent thanks to the bearings in the pivot. The grip is comfortable thanks to the classic handle. Well, I think usability will also be good, since the blade here is designed to be universal, you know, both for piercing and cutting. Obviously, bushcrafting with this knife would probably be difficult, but then again, no one is likely to take it as a bushcraft knife anyway. People who do that are those who know exactly what kind of tasks they'll be performing. And they'll choose their gear accordingly based on the tasks it needs to handle. As for EDC, for urban use, it's quite suitable. The only thing is, as I mentioned earlier, you really do feel the weight. If you're wearing light shorts or thin pants, it'll probably be uncomfortable in your pocket and will pull them down. But if you're wearing heavy jeans, I don't think that'll be a problem. Or if someone keeps it somewhere, like in an organizer or a bag. So these 134 grams will be quite comfortable. Also, I want to add that when you hold it, you do feel the weight, but as they say, weight means reliability. The knife feels reliable, let's put it that way. Solid, well-built, monolithic, yes. That was the knife featured in today's review. I might make a separate video about it where I take it apart. We'll see over time, because I'm personally curious to look at the knife's internal construction. Thank you for your attention. I look forward to seeing you again on the channel. Leave a like, dislike, any feedback at all. I'd appreciate it. See you next time.